My name is Kacia Flores. I am a 21-year-old Latinx singer-songwriter born and raised in Jackson Heights, Queens, and I dedicate my life to music. What I do is preserve the genres that my parents passed down to me, genres from the Andes of South America and other popular Latin American genres like boleros, pasillos, and my mission is to continue the legacy that they gave to me. I would say that my hair story began in the salons of my neighborhood. I remember when I was younger, every time we would get ready for, let's say, a quinceañera, or I remember specifically in my first communion, I would go get my hair done, and the hairdressers would always admire my hair, tell between their peers how they liked how long and how strong or thick it was, and that was something that made me feel very beautiful. My mom used to also love to do different hairstyles on me. She specifically loved doing braided hairstyles on me, like a high ponytail or two braids that fell off my shoulders. And she would like to dress me up in this set. She'd like to do a crochet poncho that she would make just for me, add a matching hat to it, and then add the two braids. And that was something that I felt very unique in such a big city like New York. However, when my teenage years came, we had a big turn in our life when we moved to Bogota, Colombia. But when we went to go live in the city in my high school years, I felt like it wasn't well looked upon for me to wear a set like that. It was almost like there was something wrong with it. And there was a discrimination towards people who would wear two braids and their set of a poncho, associating them as ignorant farmers or indigenous people. And that was something that was especially hurtful to me because that was my heritage, that was my background, that was my mom's background, and something that identified us as Colombians, as people in society. So it made me feel very bad when I saw that happening. Went through a lot of body image issues when I was a teenager. It was a very dark period for me, honestly. I came to hate myself, every inch of myself. I just wasn't feeling confident with the body I was in due to the standards of Colombian women in Colombia. And it was a really dark time for me. I would say that it just came to a point where I would look myself in the mirror and just not want to see myself. But something that I would say was the ripple effect to loving myself was my hair. Because my hair was, to me, a reflection of my background. And when I saw the women of my background, the women of Boyacá from Colombia, or the women of Natabuela in Babura in Ecuador, I saw something that radiated about them, which was their hair. And that helped me find the confidence that I was lacking. It was my first step to self-love.
This is another Infosol production.
Hi, everyone. My name is Cherie Fletcher. I am a number, age. It's old and close to 40. And I am passionate about art. My hair story began, I can distinctly remember it too, because I did not like getting my hair combed at all, like most Black children, because there's a lot of it. and our mothers don't typically know what to do with it at such a young age, or at all. And that is because their hair journey was not their own. They were exposed to straightening their hair when they were very young, and they were told that their hair, in their time and in their day, wasn't a thing. So as a young child, my mom really didn't know how to care for my hair. She knew how to style it, how to get it to look a certain way, but she really didn't know how to truly take care of my hair, as she wasn't taught by her mother, and her mother wasn't taught by her mother. I would go to this lady in my community. Her name was Miss Graham, but affectionately known as Aunty Gay, because she's literally happy as hell, and she's just a good person and kind-hearted spirit. That's the house that everybody kind of went to in the neighborhood to get their hair done. It was like on rotation. You know what I mean? So on Sundays, we knew who was going first and we knew who was going last. I grew up in the 90s, just to give some reference for age there. And growing up in the 90s, I mean, it was like Calgon, Take Me Away. And then I think Garnier had just started making commercials. And none of those hair care products, you know what I mean? Oh, herbal essences was the jam when I was growing up. And none of those products worked for my hair. On Sundays, after Aunty Gay went to church, I get my hair done, and that literally consisted of me sitting on the floor on a pillow from the couch and doing my hair, and that would take about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and it hurt. There was some crying, definitely some crying, nobody was gonna give me a break, we just had to keep going. She was just integral to me growing up. She taught me how to braid. She taught me how to do hair. I watched her straighten hair for the first time in my life, in the kitchen, that hot comb on the stove. Everything's a ritual, so it's sitting down and taking out the braids to get your hair washed, to get it blow dried, to go get the braids again, right? So that was all of Saturday. So it was go to swim practice, and I had boarding practice at 6 a.m. And then I taught the kids how to swim at 8 or 9. And then I went to dance class after that until 4, and I would take my hair out after dance class. So just imagine what that was. It didn't feel like it was ever for me. Felt like I was doing something that I needed to do to get through the week, because I felt so excluded beauty-wise in all phases of my journey until adulthood. You shouldn't be damn near 40 to finally feel pretty.
So hi, my name is Manuela Agudelo. I am 24 years old. My origin is colorful and exciting and warm, and it is really important to me to always speak about my heritage. I was born in Colombia, and I was raised by a single mother, and I was raised in Jackson Heights, Queens. And my passions lie in telling the stories of the powerful women that have come before me. I'm passionate about dance, roller skating, modeling, acting, producing cultural events, and providing a platform for artists of color and queer artists. And it's just incredibly important to me to share my light and to encourage other people to share their light as well. So my hair story begins with my mother, who is a professional hairstylist. So even as a really young kid and in baby pictures, I see that my mom always had me in very creative and versatile hairstyles. I have naturally curly hair, and I inherited that from my mother's side because my mother's family is all Afro-Colombian, and I never actually met my father until recently. So that side of my ethnic background is something I'm still getting to know. And my mom's hair has always been something that I think is so beautiful and powerful, and it's a part of Colombian culture that I feel doesn't get a lot of representation. I don't feel like Afro-Colombian women are represented very well, and it is a part of my mission and my work to highlight those women, those melanated, beautiful women that are a part of our culture, who have given us so much and continue to give us so much. When I shaved my hair, it was definitely an act of rebellion against the stereotypes that I think that everyone holds for Colombian women. My relationship to my hair is very much inspired by my mother's journey with her hair and seeing how she's rejected patriarchal values and has always affirmed her femininity and her autonomy over her own body by doing whatever the heck she wants with her hair. In Colombia, it's so traditional for women to have long, straight black hair, and during the time that she did this in the 80s, it was so unheard of for someone to shave their head. So whenever I shave my head again, I dye it a different color, I let it grow, I style it differently, I feel like it's a fresh start. And specifically in my journey as an artist, I'm 2 years out of college, I studied social justice and performance art, and I've done so much work to heal myself and to love myself and to share my love and my support with my community, and it's been such a difficult journey. And it doesn't feel like a coincidence to me that at the same time that I completely cut all my hair off and I bleach it blonde and I have a picture of my mom looking exactly like me, and I see her and how in that moment, in the photo that was taken where I look exactly like my mom, where her hair is short and blonde, that's around the time when her career was really taking off. And it feels like there's something really transformative about changing your hair as a decision for yourself. So, right now I may not be detangling my curls for hours or doing the millions of hair masks I used to do in my hair, or the plopping for my curls, or the diffuser, the cream and the mousse and all the things I learned to do with my hair. That's not my ritual right now, but my ritual continues to be the one from when I was born, which is, my mom styling my hair. My hair journey, just remembered something. So my hair journey began when I was born, and my mom decided to style my newborn hair somehow. So she took a little bit of toothpaste and a bow, and she stuck the bow to my head with the toothpaste, and that was my first hairstyle ever. And she says that, it didn't matter, I had to look fabulous even though I just came out of the womb, She's ridiculous. And, my mom almost died when she gave birth. My mom almost didn't make it. I almost didn't make it. She had a very traumatizing birth. Black women worldwide don't get treated well in hospitals when they're giving birth, and they're not believed when they say that they are experiencing levels of pain that are, meant to be taken seriously. And my mom was expressing this really intense level of pain, and they weren't helping her, and she had to transfer to another hospital where they were successful in delivering me. I had to get yanked out of my mom because she didn't have the energy to continue the birthing process. And even though I got yanked out from my head with force, and it was a very traumatizing birth, I made it out, and I was able to meet my mom, and she says that I cried until I heard her voice. And I feel like as soon as she even got like a whiff of energy, she asked for toothpaste and a bow and stuck it on my head. And, and that's just been my mom, pushing through really difficult things just to, make me happy and make me feel beautiful and make the impossible possible. And yeah, my hair ritual is very much connected to my mom, and I hope that for all my kids and my grandkids, I can continue that ritual and support them in their self-love journey and helping them transform into whatever they want to be, and supporting them in every dream they have, just like my mom has. My hair is the courage, the strength, the beauty, the resilience, the history of the women who have come before me. And my hair is the way that I embody all of those characteristics that they have carried through all of those years and deposit it into this vessel that I have, and it's an honor to be able to do that.
My hair is a sign of respect to my Andean ancestry.
Oh, my hair journey has taught me resilience, patience, and empathy.